He said, "Tell me about its signs." The Prophet said that a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. He didn't mention all signs. He didn't even mention major signs. The hour has both minor and major signs. The major signs are well known. The Prophet, peace be upon him, did not mention any of those major signs, which are 10 and well known. He only mentioned 2 signs from among them. The minor signs. He said that a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. The scholars have 2 main interpretations regarding the meaning of this hadith, or this statement. What does it mean that a slave woman gives birth to her mistress? Some have interpreted it as an increase in disobedience, meaning that disobedience will become so widespread that the mother will end up being treated like a servant by her own daughter. It's as if the mother becomes a servant to her daughter. The daughter orders her mother around and rebukes her. This is what is meant by that a slave woman gives birth to her mistress. The slave woman gives birth to her mistress, so the mother who gave birth to the daughter ends up in this situation. The mother becomes like a servant to her daughter, serving her as a maid. They said this is due to the widespread disobedience. Others said no, it's because of the many conquests. So female captives are taken, and it's well known that she becomes a slave. And this slave woman is owned. If her master has relations with her and she bears him children, those children are free. She then transitions from being a slave woman to being called the mother of a child. After she was a slave, she becomes mother of the child. Then, if the master dies, her children inherit her. So he said, until the slave woman gives birth to the one who raised her, meaning she was her daughter, and now she becomes the one who owns her mother after her father dies, meaning the master of the slave woman, so now she owns her mother. But of course, as soon as she owns her mother, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, or rather, there's a principle among the scholars, and the hadith itself is weak, but the principle is accepted among scholars. Whoever owns a close blood relative, they are set free. Whoever owns a relative, they are immediately freed. So, as soon as the master dies, the mother of the child is freed. If her children own her, she becomes free immediately, because those who own her are her blood relatives. So she becomes free because of that. But for a period, she was owned until the slave woman gave birth to her mistress. He said, and you see the barefoot, naked, destitute shepherds competing in building tall structures. The barefoot, naked, destitute, these are the people of the desert, the Bedouins, because they don't care much about clothing and such, that's how they live. A simple life, barefoot, with worn-out, ordinary clothes. And likewise, Allah means the poor, Allah are the poor. As in the verse, if you fear poverty, meaning, if you fear being poor. So, to see the barefoot. The naked, the poor, the shepherds of sheep, they live by herding sheep, which are the sheep. The shepherds of sheep competing in building tall structures. Meaning, they move into the city, that is, if you see the Bedouins leaving their desert and heading towards the city. And they started living in urban areas, building houses, after their homes used to be tents and woven shelters they lived in. Now they're building houses and even competing in building taller and taller structures. This isn't a condemnation, but rather a statement of fact that this will happen. This too is one of the signs of the hour, as the Prophet, peace be upon him, said. Among the signs of the hour is the widespread use of the pen writing, meaning knowledge, people writing, learning, and so on. This isn't a condemnation. The spread of trade is also one of the signs of the hour. It's not a condemnation. In fact, the Prophet's appearance itself is one of the signs of the hour. And again, it's not a condemnation. The point is, among the signs of the hour is that the Bedouins will leave their desert life and move into the cities to live there.